specializes in trauma therapy with both survivors and perpetrators of domestic and sexual abuse, with a particular focus on borderline personality organization. Her integrative approach combines psychodynamic psychotherapy, positive psychotherapy, trauma-focused methods, and transference-focused psychotherapy. She has over 15 years of experience in clinical work, crisis intervention, and professional training. She provides individual and group supervision for mental health professionals and teaches nationally in Ukraine. And her work is grounded in ethical presence, emotional depth, and cultural sensitivity. And now we will be hearing from her a lecture called Motivation of Psychotherapists to Work with Cases of Sexual Violence, Theoretical Aspects and Research Perspective. And now I would like to pass on the word to Maria Tijenko. Thank you.
Hello, it is so nice to be here and to present my topic, for you. I'm Maria from Ukraine, Kiev, and it is very nice that I can do this lecture online. I would like to share with you the topic motivation of psychotherapists to work with cases of sexual violence, theoretical aspects and research perspective, as now I'm studying in PhD program, and actually this is a topic of my research. For me, it is both an honor and a responsibility to be speaking to you today. And I stand here not only as a psychologist and psychotherapist, but also as a human being, a woman, a wife, a mother, a citizen of a country at war, Ukraine. And like many of you, as someone who has sat in rooms where silence was more deafening than words, rooms where stories are not told, they are breathed between sobs, between tremors, between long pauses. The topic of sexual violence is not an easy one. It challenges often our minds, it burdens our hearts, it weighs on our bodies, and it shakes the foundation of our spirit. And yet we're here because we care, because we dare, and because this pain deserves not only to be witnessed, but to be met with present skill and hope. As you see on this slide, I would like to say some words about introduction of this topic, why, as for me, it is important. Sexual violence is one of the most pervasive human rights violations in the world, and yet it is still surrounded by silence. Silence in families, silence in institutions, silence even among us sometimes, psychotherapists. Some professionals avoid working with such cases not due to lack of knowledge, but because of what I call internal resistance. It can be emotional, moral, psychological barriers. I was questioning myself, why do some psychotherapists are not ready to work with this topic? They can work with war trauma, with other traumas, but not sexual. This question became the focus of my research. And the answer, I believe, lies not only in what we do, but in who we are, in our motivation, in our wounds, in our readiness to bear witness without breaking. Working with sexual violence, it is not standard psychotherapeutic work. It is soul work, and it requires, of course, specialized knowledges, not just theories, but embodied understanding of trauma, emotional resilience, the capacities to stay open without being consumed, and professional support, supervision, community, ethical grouping, ethical grounding, and individual psychotherapy. And yet, even with all that, many psychotherapists still say, I can't, it's too much. I never had a sexual violence experience in my childhood or adolescence, but I can't. And we must honor that too, because this work demands everything and even more sometimes. Here you see the statistics on the slide that around 223 million children globally have been subjected to sexual violence or exploitation. Another data that in 80% of cases, the perpetrator is someone known, someone trusted. And among psychiatrist patients, from 36 to 51% report a history of sexual violence. These are not numbers. These are lives. These are the eyes that look at us in silence. These are the stories told between lines. Key factors affecting clinical work with sexual violence. In my research, I developed 9 of them, as you see on the slide, and I grouped the factors into 3 dimensions, which is individual, personal trauma history, emotional regulation, sociocultural, which is religious views, gender roles, cultural taboos, and professional, the third one. Burnout, a lack of training, absence of supervision. And each of these is not a reason to step away. It is an invitation to look inward. Why? Sorry. New technology, and it's like clicker online. I'm a little bit confused. On this slide, you see balance model from positive psychotherapy method. And while talking about key factors affecting clinical work with sexual violence, this part touches every part of us. Physical, which is body tension, exhaustion, somatic pain. Emotional, which can be sadness, rage, helplessness. Mental, confusion, intrusive thoughts, cognitive dissonance. And existential, the whisper inside sometimes, which can hear psychotherapists, why does such cruelty exist? And yet we keep showing up because it gets easier. But not because it gets easier, but because we believe people can heal. Sometimes after session, we find ourselves with tight shoulders, sleepless nights, or a sudden need to cry without knowing why. And this is not a weakness. This is our resonance. This is our nervous system saying, this mattered. The balance model helped us to locate ourselves, to understand what is going on with us, what are our reactions, fight, flight, or freeze. And here on this slide, you see how we can work with balance model while we're talking about psychological and emotional responses to sexual violence cases. When body ages, when relationships strain, when motivation drops, when hope feels distant, we must pause and tend to our own want as psychotherapists. Sometimes we enter a session already tired when we work a lot with borderline personality organization or with trauma. Today we're talking about sexual trauma. Not because we don't care, but because we care so much for so long with so little rest. We carry the echoes of what we've heard, the unbearable stories, the injustice that repeats itself, the helplessness of seeing it again and again. And then we feel guilty because aren't we supposed to be strong, compassionate, stable? We should be strong, but let me say what I'm thinking about. Emotional burnout is not a failure, it's a signal for us, which can body talks our emotions and others. It tells us that we have loved too much without being held ourselves. And then comes something even deeper, secondary trauma. In this case, we can begin to dream our clients' nightmares. We can feel unsafe in our own bodies. We avoid stories or people or even the work altogether, not because we lack strength, but because the wound has entered us. We do not only work with trauma, we absorb it. It is a lifeline, a way back to ourselves, a reminder that therapists too need rhythm, breath, meaning, connection. Burnout heals not through pushing, but through pausing, through being seen, through naming what we need dare to name. For example, I am overwhelmed. Help me. I feel disconnected from my purpose. Help me. I don't know how much more I can hold. Please help me. These are not weaknesses. These are the sacred thresholds of being deeper psychotherapist and more whole human being. Third part, we can have our personal experience of sexual violence. And many psychotherapists have personal histories of trauma, and including sexual trauma. And when these stories remain unintegrated, they may erupt in the therapy room as avoidance or over identification or emotional flooding or numbness. But when acknowledged and worked through, they become a source of empathy, depth, humility, something inside on which we can stay, to be grounded. Unprocessed personal trauma increases the risk of reactive behavior, such as avoiding certain clients' groups, hyperactivity or detachment, blurred boundaries, essential, and when we talk about these, essential practices can include knowing one's own story, reflecting in individual psychotherapy or supervision. And as you see on this slide, personal trauma between research from the book of Van der Kolk, The Body Knows showing such numbers that between 19 till 38 of survivors of childhood sexual abuse have complete amnesia about the trauma, and only 16% remember. And here we can talk that this silence is not chosen, it's neurologically imposed. So when a psychotherapist feels something in the room they cannot name, we must ask, is it mine? Is it inherited? Is it remembered? Behind silence may lie a story too early, too terrifying to recall until now. And this is my own, our own supervision is sacred the place, a place to metabolize what therapy activates, a place not just for correction, but for compassion. And sometimes I know stories that after long individual psychotherapy, psychotherapists do not remember about their own experience of sexual violence, and only after 10 years of psychotherapy, of self-discovery, they remember the story which was closed in our unconsciousness. And it gets out when we are ready to face with it. The fourth motivation or resilience to work with sexual violence cases can be personal sexual discomfort or difficulty discussing sexuality. We live in a world where sexuality is both overexplored and at the same time deeply shamed. I don't know how in your countries, but in Ukraine it's still under shame sometimes. And many psychotherapists struggle to talk about it with ease. Of course, when we study psychotherapy in different methods, we have modules which are about sexuality, and we discover our sexuality, and we should speak about sexuality in easy way, but not always it's possible. But healing happens when we dare to be with this uncomfortability, when we name the unable, when we sit with silence and wait for words to come. And let us ask ourselves, what is my relationship to sexuality? What do I fear? What do I judge? What do I not yet know? And might any of these fears, judgments, or gaps in knowledge be connected, directly or subtly, to my own experience of sexual and sexualized violence, whether remembered or hidden? The fifth part of motivation or resilience can be about stigmatization and social prejudice. And here I can say some words that victims are often silenced by the same society that should protect them. And we therapists can be caught in that crossfire between loyalty to culture and loyalty to truth, between fear of judgment and our ethical compass. One second. Can you see me? Yeah. Good. Next. One second. Next slide is about religiosity and spirituality. Spiritual beliefs can heal or they can harm. And when clients say, God is punishing me, for example, we must respond not with argument, but with present, with curiosity, very interesting, with compassion. Let faith not be a bypass, but a bridge And here you can see on this slide, this is a picture from my article in Global Psychotherapist journal. I propose to look on the cycle of the vicious circle of spiritual avoidance. And at first you see trauma, then when it goes spiritual interpretation, it can block feeling, then it goes freezing, tension, and escape into ideology, and then again new displacement. And when it is not on the surface, it can be in this circle all the way around. Next slide. One more motivation or resilience factors can be transgeneration trauma. And trauma doesn't start with us, and it doesn't end with us. We carry the grief of grandmothers and grandfathers who never spoke. We hold the silence of fathers who never cried. To work with sexual trauma is not break a chain, and to offer the next generation a different story. Also, one more motivation factor can be ethical and moral dilemmas. Can I stay neutral? Should I report? For example, if I hear of some sexual violence from adult patient, but he or she doesn't want to go to police. And in Ukraine, we have law which oblige the victim when she or he have kids to call the police, but if it is about adolescents, they can choose themselves. But what we do in this case is what our ethical and moral dilemmas. These questions are not theoretical questions. They live in room with us, and they stay in the room with us. And the last one, which I studied in my research, it's content transference and transference while working with sexual violence cases. And this work stirs something ancient in us, the urge to save, the fear of contamination, the desire to shut down, the longing to merge, and we must notice, name, reflect, not to control, but to stay present. And this slide, you can see patient and psychotherapist, and what can be in this process in body sphere, in achievements, in our emotions, in our thoughts. And this is the same process which can be between a psychotherapist and clients or patients. Little bit about research. This research was born not in lab. I'm a practitioner for 15 years in my life. And in Ukraine, where war has torn open wounds, old and new, the number of sexual violence survivors has risen. Not because it was very closed inside, but because we have a lot of macro traumatic situations every day, like bombing, attacking, killing people, and so on and so forth. Even though some psychotherapists still whisper, I'm not ready to work with sexual violence cases. My question is, how do we become ready? Do we have some keys when our motivation inside would say, yes, I'm ready? And what we can do if our patient comes to us and he or she doesn't tell us a story about sexual violence, but once they in 1 year or in 2 years in long-term psychotherapy, our patient would say, oh, yes, I remembered something. And what we do in this case? Do we need to say, oh, no, I need to give you to another psychotherapist who work with these situations? I've explored the cognitive, emotional, and motivational landscape that shapes our choices, because motivation is not just about desire, it's about safety, identity, meaning, and calling. And the model I offer is not final. It is a mirror, a map, a conversation starter. It shows that readiness is not fixed. It can grow with awareness, support, and courage. So what do we need? Not only methods, but mentors. Not only theories, but spaces for tears. Not only answers, but better questions. This is high risk, high meaning work, and we do not walk it alone. Thank you for listening, for your hearts, for your presence in the room. Thus, I cannot see you, but at least to those already doing this work, I see you, I thank you, you're not alone. To those hesitating, I understand. I'm also here working with these people. May this talk be a gentle invitation. Let us grow, not away from suffering, but in our capacity to meet with humanity. And let us become not perfect, but present, real, and alive. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you,